It's good to see you back, Deputy. Dare I hope you bring news of your success? That's a very meaningful gesture from a newcomer. The Office of Divine Prosecution will have to handle their official return, of course, to preserve the integrity of the fallen, but I'm sure the families will be grateful for their return. I could never imagine the newcomers would be this helpful to the Divine Prosecution's efforts. It's simply astonishing. The Divine Prosecution has been following the Sagations for quite some time. A group of researchers who are truly no better than bandits. We've discovered that they are currently holed up in the ruins of Torheim Card. They've stolen many valuable relics, and we need you to recover them. We also wish to keep tabs on their movements. I suspect most of the Sagations have written plans on their person. Collect those plans using any means necessary. I thought the contract was self-explanatory. Do you require more information, or did you just want to chat before you completed your assigned task? A group of scholars who found the laws of Summerset to hold too many limitations. They've abandoned all scruples, researching dangers that are best left forgotten or destroyed. And they'll use any means to obtain their dark ends. Thievery is quite common. We've gotten a flood of reports in the last year alone of missing relics, all tied to this one organization. They've also begun bribing government officials, though we've no leads yet on who. They're most likely conducting experiments of some kind. Honestly, this isn't the first time a dangerous party has taken over Torheim Card. I've often found that secluded ruins attract that sort of attention.
move. Help me.
That storm's worsening by the second. We're running out of time. Best head inland, traveler, far as you can manage. It is only a matter of time before the tempest over Sea Keep moves down the coast, leaving ruin in its wake. I suppose it is, but we were driven from the keep long before the tempest began forming. Sea elves infiltrated our defenses and slaughtered the garrison. We're all that survived. That storm will finish the job unless I manage to stop it. It's no natural formation. The sea elves are conjuring it. If I could get within striking distance of their sea mage, I could break his hold on the storm and prevent the destruction to come. But that's a desperate hope for one mer. I don't need another death on my conscience, but I can't afford to refuse your help. A direct assault on Sea Keep is impossible, but if the Maormer can infiltrate it, then so can we. Meet me at the ruins down by the water. I'll show you what I mean. Sea Keep is the bulwark that invading fleets dash themselves against attempting to attack Alanor. Impregnable by most means, our battle mages and siege engines could reduce an enemy fleet to flotsam in a matter of minutes. It was made to be unsaleable from the outside. Inside, that's another matter. Once we're within the walls, we only have the Maormer to fear. They are brutal and ruthless opponents. Their war beasts, perhaps more so. Apologies. It's easy to take our ancestral conflict as common knowledge after so long. Maormer are otherwise known as Sea Elves, exiles who were banished many centuries ago. Not a year goes by that they don't attempt to wrest Summerset from our grip. It has been attempted. Their home of Piandania is an isle surrounded by impenetrable mists. All attempts to navigate it have failed spectacularly. All we can do is remain vigilant and endure. I was, yes. A fortress that has never been breached in thousands of years of fighting was lost in a single night on my watch. The failure is entirely mine to bear. Unconventionally, they exploited a weakness in Sea Keep I took for granted. But we can do the same. You'll understand when we get to the ruins by the shore. Our means of entering Sea Keep is this way. There's no time to spare. Hope you're a strong swimmer, incidentally. Here. This is the place. See that whirlpool? The currents are being drawn into the flooded ruins beneath Sea Keep. We should be able to follow them inside just as the Sea Elves did. It's that or we drown. If you want to back out, I understand. Good. I'm glad to have someone at my back. I couldn't ask any of my soldiers to do this. They've suffered enough for my mistakes, and it's just something I have to do. Come on, before the storm decides to sweep us away. 8 guide us. We made it! Too many years on dry land. There's a secret door in these ruins that will lead us directly into Sea Keep's dungeon. I can unseal it, but there's something you should know first. I had another reason to come here, when I couldn't share around my troops. The Maormer are holding the woman I love captive. I have to free her before the reinforcements from Alanor arrive. Because Castera is a sea elf. She is, or was, I suppose, the captain of the crew that attacked Sea Keep. Assuming her mutinous crew hasn't already done so, she'll be executed. Ultima don't suffer Maormer. Bait. These ruins were the only place where Cass and I could see each other. Our secret safe place. She would signal, and I would use the secret door to meet her. Only this time, I was met by the sabers of her crew. They had her in chains. Yes, the blood of the garrison is on my hands. I killed them with my secret. I can't take that back, but maybe I can save what's left. The survivors, the keep, and the woman I love. I last saw Cass in the dungeon. With any luck, she's still there, and unharmed. I didn't. The sea elves waylaid me and tossed me in the dungeon as soon as I unsealed the hidden passage. They only kept me alive because I was still of use to them. I slipped the leash on the battlements, where their sea mage was studying the keep's magical defenses. There was nowhere for me to run, so I took a leap of faith straight into the arms of the sea. Barely made it back to shore, but I survived. There's the secret door. Give me a moment to open the seal. Cass, are you all right?
Pan? How did you... Never mind. Get me out of these chains.
I'll see to her bonds. Cass, I need you to tell us everything you know about what your crew is planning.
Is it just the two of you? I suppose it'd have to be. No one from his garrison would volunteer to help a Malma. You know the truth, then. About us. You have to understand. The only thing lower than a mutineer to the Malma is an Ultima. Consorting with one is tantamount to treason. Loving one, unforgivable. I made them party to the ultimate taboo. Now they're trying to wash away the stain. They're going to summon a storm so powerful it'll scour the entire coast clean, and this keep with it. There'll be no trace of my offense left, or anything to stand between Alinor and the Piandinian Armada. They'll be remembered as heroes. On the battlements, calling to the wind and sea. It'll be a hard slog to get there. My crew won't hesitate to lay down their lives to protect Ulsa.
I have a suggestion for our next move. Defeating Ulsar won't be as simple as rushing up the battlements and driving a sword through his heart. He has all the power of Sea Keep at his command. It wouldn't even be a contest, but I have an idea to put us on equal footing. The magic in these Aldmer ruins are the hidden heart of Sea Keep's power. Without them, we'd merely be high walls and harsh words, save a few war machines. Cutting off the flow of magicka to the battlements might give us the edge we need. There are fonts that channel the power of magicka through Sea Keep. If we seal them, it should prevent Ursar from drawing more power into his storm, but the results could be unpredictable. Sealing the fonts will be like trying to plug a dam with our fingers. At best, we'll staunch the flow enough to weaken him. At worst, the strain brings the whole keep down on us.
Pan, your plan's insane. I love it. Where do we start?
We? No. You have to run while you can, Cass. Even if we stop the storm.
Stow it, Pan. I'm as much to blame for this as you. I'm not leaving you to fix it yourself.
You're okay turning a blade on your own? There's no way to avoid it.
They stopped being my own the moment they mutinied.
There's one of the fonts.
Make them grovel. That's my philosophy.
I don't suppose we could use this to blast Ursar off the ramparts?
Sadly, no.
Couldn't enjoy it from down here anyway.
There's a font here. The last vault is just ahead.
Too late to right the ship, Captain. Nothing left to do but sink with the rest of us.
I'm too stubborn to sink, Tenerife. That's why I was captain. May your bones bleach on barren sands. Damned
The Oldma fonts of...
Do what you have to do. There wasn't a shred of hesitation in Tenerife's eyes. He went to his grave hating me with every fiber of his being. My second mate, former second mate. He was like a brother to me, but he turned his back like the rest. I don't know why I expected him to be different. Not that I deserved his forgiveness. I betrayed them first. I made vows to one of the tyrants that exiled our people from our rightful home. I've lost everything because of it. Maybe I was right when I thought we were cursed. Maybe I was never one of them to begin with. How many of those vipers would have charged in here to rescue me from capture? Pan was the right choice.
The gates are barred. The locking mechanisms are controlled from those two towers. Damn it! I didn't see him escape, but I held out hope. I'm sorry, old friend. That does it. We should meet Castira at the gate. This is it, Cass. Last chance to...
Don't try to talk me out of this, Pan. Earlsar's up ahead, in the eye of the storm. He drove my crew to mutiny, tossed me in chains, and nearly killed the man I love. I'll drag him to the bottom of Mother Sea if it's the last thing I do.
Earlsar and his storm lie beyond this gate. No matter what happens, I want to thank you for standing by me. If it weren't for you, I might never have gotten to see Castira again. If this is goodbye, at least it'll be one with closure. Charging headlong into the fray was easier when I had nothing to lose, but my courage is intact. I'm with you to the end.
You remember our vows?
They were the only thing that kept us moored through that miserable storm.
Let's do it again. How often are we going to see a tempest like this in one lifetime?
You always were the romantic.
Shouldn't the storm be growing weaker?
I said it probably wouldn't get any stronger. Damn him! I can barely hold my footing!
Keep fighting! One of us has to make it!
You can't tame the sea!
Your reinforcements! They're here. They can't see me with you.
Castira, wait!
It ends like it began. The two of us, adrift among the wreckage of our lives.
But alive and together.
Fortune smiles, with a shark's teeth. Earlsar's dead and his mutiny along with him. I only wish I had the strength to settle the score myself. If there was any justice in the world, he'd have been forced to concede that he'd never drown me in shame. I'll return home with my head held high. It'll be a long journey without a crew, but I'll manage. There's no shame in returning to port humbled but unbroken, though I think I'll steer clear of sun-kissed shores for some time. I love him, for some reason, but the walls between us are taller than this keep. Just to see him for a few fleeting moments commands such risk, it nearly destroyed everything we care about, and more. There's no place for us among Maormer or Altmer. Did you witness a lot of coexistence here today? When we come together, we leave ruin in our wake. Take the sign for what it is. The world doesn't want us to be together. It's time we finally accepted that as the truth and stop fighting it. Pan won't take it well, but I think he'll understand. Thanks for everything you've done for us. May you see clearer skies and calmer seas than we. I love you, Pan. But we can't go on like this.
I know, Cass.
What will happen when I'm gone?
I pick up the pieces, or I find myself in irons.
I'm sorry. For everything.
I'm not.
The span between us may be as far as the sun and the sea, but you'll never be far from my thoughts.
The sun and the sea were never so lucky as to have crossed paths. I don't expect you to keep my secret, but I'd rather pay my penance through action, not rotting in a cell. It's selfish, but it's all I have left. I want to restore some of the damage I've caused with my own hands. I have to believe I can find redemption through repentance. Our reinforcements have arrived from Alinor. Tell the battle reeve what you will.
When Pandemalian's soldiers told me he'd returned to the keep with a passerby, I thought he'd lost his mind. What were you thinking? I'm not one to commend recklessness, but I suppose we all owe you a debt of gratitude. I don't know what's more troubling, that the Sea Elves would attempt such a thing, or that they were able to seize Seakeep in the first place. I'll note your remarks for the inquiry to follow. The sack of Seakeep under Pandemalian's watch will reflect poorly, though his heroics today will temper the attitudes of the court. Your service to the crown is appreciated. You've had a long day. See to your troops and get some rest.
I'm honored by your consideration, but Seakeep is my responsibility. I won't rest until it is secure.
As you wish.
Are you purposefully doing a poor job? Because I can come to no other conclusion.
This is absurd. No one can meet these standards, not even you.
It seems I am not only beset upon by my own indolent assistants, but by the curiosity of passing vagrants as well. A research exercise that needs to be concluded as soon as possible, as well as possible, and with as few distractions as possible. Given the assistants I must work with, my goal can only be attained with strict motivation. Did I give the impression I was soliciting input? I am not. My research funding depends on these results, delivered in a timely fashion. If bullying my assistants means my research is funded, so be it. 5 reasons? Why, that's awfully specific. Oh, I see what you mean. Very well. My assistants can take a reprieve. Excuse me. I have been induced, rather enlightened by this, kind individual to permit a cessation of labor. Please do so.
Glad to see someone put the Sapiarch in his place. Ancestors know I could never do it.
No, that won't do. The color must be vibrant. Finally, the courier. I expected you hours ago. You must acquire my materials at once. And don't think I'll compensate you for the rush, given you're the one who was late. Oh, well, I can hardly keep track of every face I hire. An artist's work is endless. I need colors. Rich, rare, vibrant. After all, this painting will be the masterpiece of my career. I simply cannot work with mediocre shades. Reagents, ingredients, naturally, of course. I require that you gather the supplies needed to make the vivid paint this masterwork requires. Just take this list. Oh, and this tea, of course, you'll need it to acquire the first item. Now hurry along. I really do need you to hurry along. Inspiration could strike me at any moment, and I simply must have the perfect colors when that time comes. Oh, of course, you're a fan. Well, I'm not surprised my popularity precedes me. I'm sure it's not every day that you meet an artist of my caliber. As long as it doesn't delay you for too long, you may ask me some questions. From what I gather, Summerset views its artists rather differently than the rest of Tamriel. It's one of the few ways to rise above your family's station and enter the world of the elite. This masterpiece shall be my final step. Oh, no. Being a renowned artist is a station all its own, and a highly respected one at that. From this generation forth, my descendants shall say my name with reverence. What more could one ask for? I'm known for my art, yes, but I need something to set me apart. A painting that shall hang for centuries, worshipped by those who gaze upon it. To do so, I need breathtaking, resplendent colors. Vivid, powerful, emotional. Hamelin's dye produces the most gorgeous teal you'll ever see. The Yokuden tea I've given you should be a good enough trade. Brodron's bug carcasses create greys with flashes of silver. He's already received payment, so just tell him my name. The Aurealis. Oh, such a glowing orange it produces. Beautiful enough to bring tears to your eyes. The flowers are rare, but I happen to know a hilltop where they still grow. I've marked all the locations for you in the note.
Hard at work, Tindoria? How goes your finger painting?
Ah, very well. I see you deigned to step out of your florid abode. Come to see how a real artist creates.
I'd enlighten you with a response, but we both know my skill speaks for itself.
Why, you're certainly skilled at boasting. If only you had the artistic sense Auriel gave a mudharper, you might produce something of worth.
Your tongue remains as sharp as your wits. When I'm declared the royal court's newest artist, I'll be sure to send you an invitation to dinner.
What a kind offer, though I'm sure that won't be necessary. After all, we both know that I'll be the one to acquire that position.
So, you volunteered to collect Tindoria's arduous list of artistic materials? How exciting. Do try not to get eaten by anything unpleasant. Who am I? Honestly, I'm shocked you haven't heard of me. My works of brilliance are desired across all Summerset. My name reverberates throughout the land on the lips of nobles and commoners alike. An artist? No. I am the artist. I assure you, my confidence is well earned. Unlike poor Tindoria, she tries her best, but those with an eye for these sorts of things know the truth. She lacks a certain something. Hate, that's quite a strong term. Why, we're simply friendly rivals. It's always been that way ever since we trained together under Hainamil. Truly, I relish our time together. I'm simply the better artiste.
Honestly, I think she plans to do something rash. She might even attack the god. Ah, another newcomer. Delightful. What exactly can I do for you? What keen ears you have. You heard us discussing a private matter from way over there. Impressive. Perhaps you can put that inquisitive nature to good use. A newcomer, much like you, is stirring up trouble here in Lilandril. A member of the Mages Guild murdered a sapiarch, but now the murderer's friend is railing against the conviction, loudly. Talk some sense into her, would you? She might listen to another guest. You'll find her outside the Fighters Guild.
Saved our high and mighty queen, eh? Name should have had the crown.
Stay strong, Emil. I'll get you out of this.
Secure the prisoner in the Fighters Guild. Off you go.
Sometimes I wish the criminals and lawbreakers would take a holiday. Then the officers of the Divine Prosecution could catch up on our paperwork. Is there something you need, newcomer? A writ of authenticity for a Nord ambassador? That's a highly unusual request, considering that a newcomer is the one making it. The Divine Prosecution requires weeks, sometimes even months, to properly audit diplomatic credentials. Vindilwyn, she loves to engage in the commerce of favors. Very well, a cup and bowl were stolen from the Alinor Palace. Favorites of the Queen, I'm told. Recover these items, and I might be persuaded to issue Rigurt a writ of authenticity. Ideas? Plenty. Proof? Nothing that would hold up in a court of law. Not yet, anyway. But I'm more concerned with recovering the items. Stolen goods usually find their way to the pirates in Waston Coraldale. I'd start my search there if I were you.
Please.
What is it?
Ta!
Vindilwyn told me where she sent you. I've been having the most interesting conversation with this divine prosecution person here. Did you know the tall elves have at least 3 rules for every possibility? Oh, did you find the stolen goods? Rigert is so happy he could kiss you! The last time I did that, though, Thane Mera punched me in the nose, so... I know. Let's give the good Justiciar one of my Nord keepsakes. Which one do you think he'd like best? Interesting. The stuffed goat represents stoic bravery, and she never breaks any rules. I mean, how could she? She's dead. Anyway, she stands for all the same things as the divine prosecution. Yes, I think that's the perfect gift to give to the Justiciar. The Nord Cultural Exchange proudly returns the Queen's stolen items. And this stuffed goat, it's a Nord treasure.
Remarkable work. I'll grant you that writ of authenticity now. A word of advice. If Vindilwyn refuses to help, remind her that the divine prosecution might remember the incident at the Battle Reeves dinner party.
Heed me, brothers and sisters. You look at one another and suspect nothing, but in any heart can lurk the taint of Daedric worship. We have welcomed the tainted Dark Elves and their perverted tribunal creed, the wretched spawn of Trinomac, the Shape-Taker. We give them free rein in our hallowed homeland. We must beware. The gnarled root of cultists cannot gain purchase in the island. But know, brothers and sisters, that the warmth of the Ekada can...
Dropped out of the sky, they hit with a thud.
As I have said, the Proxy Queen is unable to hold an audience with petitioners at this time. There are other affairs that require her attention.
And when will your ever-busy Proxy Queen see us?
Does she even intend on receiving our petitions? Or does she cast us aside like the rest of you high elves?
Many affairs compete for the Proxy Queen's attention. The complaints of newcomers do not rank as a matter of priority, simply put.
How dare you dismiss me, as though I was some commoner? I refuse to leave this spot until my petition is heard.
The same goes for me.
honestly never expected to see either you or Ambassador Riggett again. Can I assume this means you acquired the items I specified? So I see. I'll just file the documents away for later review, and slip those tickets into my bodice for safekeeping. We should be able to process your request and schedule an appointment for, let's say, 5 weeks from next Mondays. You're lucky I'm entertaining the Nord's request at all. Take the appointment and be grateful for this time with the Proxy Queen. I know newcomers who would kill for a meeting sometime this year, let alone in 5 weeks. Now, if you don't mind.
Riggert is so disappointed. How can I negotiate peace if I can't even get an audience with the High Elf Proxy Queen? What a terrible predicament this has turned out to be. Do you have any brilliant ideas, my friend? Of course. Threaten the snooty High Elf with a scandal. High Elves hate scandals, snooty or otherwise. Watch how Riggert negotiates a difficult situation. No, better idea. You do it! That way Riggert gets to be the good Nord. More believable that way.
Back again? You and that Nord are worse than a plague of fell runners in a field of swamp nettles. What do you want this time? He did what? How dare he? Why, I have a mind to... No. I see how it is. Very well. Tell the Ambassador I'm impressed by his ruthless use of rumor and innuendo. I'll let the Proxy Queen know that Riggert is her next appointment.
What happened? Did the threatening words do the trick? Or is Riggert in even more trouble with the snooty High Elves now? She did? I mean, of course she did! Riggert had every confidence in you. Thank you, my friend. Take this with the gratitude of the Nord Cultural Exchange. I think you'll like it better than that stinky essence of mammoth that I saw you ogling.
Proxy Queen Eleanorway, may I present the Nord Ambassador, Riggert the Brash.
Pleased to be seeing your beautiful face, Your Majesty. Sign the treaty, and we can break for dinner. Unless you want to be negotiating first.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Ambassador. I'll listen to what you have to say, and we'll see where the evening takes us.
As long as the evening includes lots of mead, that sounds fine to me.
Ambassador, I find your Nordish inclinations to be most refreshing.
Oh, Riggert has plenty of inclinations, Your Majesty.
We look forward to finding out all about your inclinations, Ambassador Riggert. Come along. The royal chef makes a rabbit meatball pie that you'll absolutely devour.
As I have said, the Proxy Queen is unable to hold an audience.
We can regale the court with tales of how Paragon bravely wrestled 7 volumes to the ground. He'll have the paper cuts
Could you
to
keep it
prove
down? At least one of us should know about giant salamanders before we face one.
I heard Paradon's family had fallen on tough times, but this swill isn't fit for my butler's table.
Please, excuse me, but I was rather hoping to finish this next chapter of my book. I hope you understand. A good question. Hunting, ostensibly. We're to claim some dangerous beast to prove ourselves the rightful masters of these isles. An antiquated tradition. The giant salamander. A hard quarry to miss, unless you've spent most of the day with your head in a keg. Books have more interesting things to say. And in the unlikely event that we do stumble across our prey, I would like to know what we are up against. It's good you asked. They're a tricky foe. Giant salamanders are highly adaptable and have a volatile relationship with the elements. Fire, lightning, you name it, and they can change their affinities seemingly at will. It seems the hunt must go on. Please excuse me.
Nocturnal has need of you, Wave Eater. My power flows through the pearls. Next time, you won't be so lucky.
If you've come to rob me, I'm afraid I have little of value. I can help if you've a high fever or nervous stomach, but I have no need for gold these days. Healthy paranoia, I suppose. There's plenty of questionable characters out here, but I prefer it to the crowded cities. Too many going on about their appearance or their status or their career. I'm done with such trivialities. Oh, it's been a long time since my former student has contacted me, and now she makes such demands. How quickly she forgets who trained her to hold a paintbrush. I have no need for gold. You can tell her that upon your empty-handed return. This is Yokudan blue tea? I thought it lost forever. The last shipment was said to have sunk to the bottom of the Abyssan Sea. Oh, she's still clever, isn't she? Her and Veralel always were. Very well, take my mixture. It's a good trade. Yes, back when I had the inclination to bother with such upstarts, I thought that would be my legacy, to train great artists who would blossom under a careful eye. Sadly, all they did was rot in their own hubris. The life of a Summerset artist is not easy. It's not enough to be merely great. You have to be better. Both Tindoria and Verarel wilted under that pressure. I blame myself for agreeing to tutor them together. Their rivalry seemed harmless at first, even friendly, just something to keep them motivated. But as it tends to be, one of them was always a step ahead. Soon any praise I had for one would pierce the pride of the other. And now they've both grown bitter and endlessly jealous of the other's success. They believe Summerset only has room for one great artist. Such foolishness. Honestly, it was their squabbling that led me to stop taking students.
Hey there, careful where you step. My livestock is having their dinner, and I won't have some bumbler stomping all over them. I've got enough trouble with their mating woes. These bugs happen to be the most desirable olive lint to crawl upon Summerset. When ground up, my beauties make the most brilliant shade of grey you ever did see. Why, I even got the artist Tindoria as a client. Oh, well, I did. What a shame. I always took her for one of the good ones. Never tried to cheat me or say I wasn't welcome. Always complimented my beauties when she visited. The ideal customer every time. To think that she would go so far as to sabotage my livestock. Because it turns out she's just like every other high elf on this island. I refused to sell my carapaces to her exclusively, and this is what happens. Verilel was just heartbroken when I had to turn him away. Yes, and he had quite a bit to say about Tindoria. He told me just last week she was complaining about my services. And I heard this wouldn't be the first time she's done something shady. Why, Ifra, to think I was so blind.
Wait, don't hurt me. This wasn't my idea, honest. I just did what I was paid to. Just let me go and I'll tell you everything. Oh, I don't know. Some sort of pheromone? It makes those nasty bugs sleepy, but that's it, I swear. It's not poison or anything. Why did I ever agree to work for that snobby artist? What? No, a fellow named Verilel. Nasty perfume, full of himself, typical artist. He paid me to sabotage this farm. Not quite sure why, but, well, I think it's about time I leave. No need to tell the authorities, right? That's it. This is the last time I get caught up in artist rivalries.
I trust your search was as fruitless as mine? He did? Oh, honestly, I would love to believe that. Tindoria's support was the only thing I had going for my business for a long while. But what would Verilel have to gain from all this? That's true. Tindoria and Verilel have been rivals for as long as they've been artists. I even let that bastard convince me Tindoria was the one who did it. Ah, these artists and their rivalries. It's always us little people who are made to suffer. Here, take the last of my stock. I'm sorry I ever took the word of that perfumed pansy over Tindoria. Just glad I'm able to get her this shipment. That gentleman never did me a bit of harm.